What's up guys, David Falla here. Today we have a comb over type of video, but the most important thing I want to show in this video is the texture of the hair. Many of you always tell me that I only post videos with people that have easy hair to cut, whatever that means. In this case I think this is a difficult type of hair, my opinion, just because it's the texture of it, the density is thin, right? So it's actually not as easy to cut as other, especially to fade. So then this is how you can do something like this. So anyways, on the top we're gonna go ahead and kind of part the hair right in the mohawk section, how we have done it before, and this is just gonna give us a first guideline. In this case we're not cutting the hair too much, we're just cutting a little bit on top. So that's pretty much what we're gonna do. So you can see here, I created a part right with this connection starts, and what we're gonna do with this, in this case we're gonna take vertical sections to create this haircut. So this section is gonna be my guide, to say it like that, and it's gonna be the longest section of all. So we're gonna actually use that line, it's the guideline, to kind of cut the rest of the hair. We want to leave it a tiny bit longer in this side, just because we want that hair to kind of push the hair towards the other side. So you can see I'm just creating grabbing vertical sections, and then just kind of continue connecting the first guideline into the rest of the hair.
On the D-roll, pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll, pulling up, smoking haze for days. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll, pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll, pulling up, smoking haze through the back door.
Always remember to cross-check whatever you do on top. So if you did a vertical section, don't forget to use horizontal sections to make sure that everything is even. How you can see, like in this haircut, we did vertical sections. So right now I'm grabbing horizontal sections and double checking everything, making sure everything is correct. How you can see, this side is a tiny bit longer than the rest, and that's on purpose because we want that side to be a tiny bit longer, just to kind of push everything to the other side. Remember that for the most part, long hair follows short hair, so that's exactly what we're trying to do. I think this is the best way to kind of comb over, just because of that's exactly what we want the hair to kind of go one side. So anyway, we're gonna dry the hair and we're gonna kind of style it right away. So pretty much we're gonna fully dry the hair in the direction we want the hair to go. In this case, we're trying to cut it and for it to go to the left, to part to the left. So that's exactly how we're gonna do it. I think sometimes it's easier to just cut the top first, so you can actually connect the fade to the top when it's already cut. So anyway guys, here we're gonna do a number 4 with the lever closed, and then this is gonna be kind of to remove bulk, honestly, more than anything else. In this case, how I said, the client has thin hair, so it's not the easiest hair to actually fade. So with hair like this, what I like to do, I like to use a lot of clipper over comb, and I try not to skip guards. In this case, I will just go ahead and I pretty much use all the guards that I need, just because with thin hair, for some reason it tends not to blend as nicely. It doesn't matter how much you try, for the most part, like it's hard sometimes to blend it the way you want it to blend, right? So anyways, I'm gonna give you guys my best on this haircut. So in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create my first guideline using just the machine with the lever closed. Many of you always message me telling me, oh, I don't have a Supra to create my first guideline, this and that, and you guys know that's what I use. You guys don't need a Supra, you can use your trimmer, or in this case, how you can see, you can just use your machine with the lever closed, the one that you already have, and then just do that first. And then obviously you probably need to cut the hair a little bit shorter if you're going to use something like electric shaver. If you're gonna use a razor, I would still recommend you to cut the hair a tiny bit shorter using a trimmer, just because it's gonna make it easier to erase that line. So, but I just wanted to show you guys that you don't need like detachables, you don't need any of that. Just because I use it doesn't mean you guys need it. So here we're using the TL liner, as you can see, just a trimmer. We're gonna continue removing, cutting that hair a little bit shorter, because in this case we are gonna use the shaver. We're gonna use electric shaver, and with electric shaver the hair has to be short enough for it to cut it, because if it's not short, what it's gonna do is it's gonna either skip some of the hair, or it's gonna pull the hair out of the pore, and that's gonna make the client bleed, and then it's gonna be a mess. So just make sure you use your trimmers to cut the hair very close to the skin, so you can actually use the shaver after. Just use any shaver. In this case, I like the shavers with this type of foil. I feel like they cut shorter than the ones with the three little blades. Actually, I like this one better, but that's my opinion. If you don't have an electric shaver, you can also use a razor, and it will do exactly the same job.
There's a universe inside you. Why are you pushing it away? Leave behind your own deception and learn to live another day. There's a universe inside you, your galaxy of happiness. I just wanna help you find it.
Go ahead and use a number 1 with the lever open, and then the reason for this is that we already created our first guideline with a 4. Now we're gonna start down fading kind of type of thing, but I want to create enough space between the 0 that I made and then the 2, because usually for the most part the kind of fading part, the transition of a fade occurs between the 0 and then number 2, the 1.5, depends on the type of fade. So we want to create enough space there to make sure that there's no heavy lines or anything like that during the fade. So I say, like with this type of hairstyle, with this type of haircut that has like thin hair, what I like to do is use a lot of clipper over comb. I try not to do as many guides. Like actually, if I was cutting the shop, I would not be making any guides. I'm doing them here because of the video, but in reality, I would try not to make any lines at all, just because sometimes with thin hair, it's kind of hard to erase them. So you can see after using number 1, what I'm using now is actually clipper over comb with the same number 1. So this is allowing me to create that transition without having to maybe use a number 3 if I don't need to, or a number 2 after that. So I'm using number 1 just for reasons with the clipper over comb. How you can see the number 2 already blended into the 4 that we used first. So that's the good thing about clipper over comb. How you guys know is my favorite technique. I use this all the time. I kind of do all my fades pretty much with all clipper over comb when I'm on the shop, just because it's quicker, and I think it gives you like a cleaner look, in my opinion. So anyway, how you can see I switched combs because I needed something a little smaller, just to kind of be a little more precise with it. But like you can use whatever you have. So here I'm using number 0, and we're gonna start with the lever open, and then we're gonna close it little by little. And this is down fading, so just don't forget, start with lever open, and then little by little you close it as the clipper stops cutting. Then you close the lever more, and that's it. So here you can see I'm still using a number 0, just so if I see something needs to be blended on top, I'm using a clipper over comb technique to blend that, just because I don't want to create more lines. I don't want to create another line, so that's exactly why I'm using the clipper over comb with every guard pretty much. So you can see here just I'm starting to close the lever little by little, and then make sure that like everything is clean before jumping. I mean, one of the problems that many people have, I feel, is that they change guards too quickly. So I'm gonna advise I can give you, if you're a beginner, go ahead and only switch the clipper, like the guard, when you see that there's no, like you don't hear the clipper cutting anymore. So as you move the lever, you're gonna hear that you get to a point that you don't hear the machine cutting anymore. Then move the lever closer, and then when it's already fully closed and you don't hear the clipper cutting, then switch guards. So here I'm erasing the skin line. It's gonna be the same process, just with the lever open, and then we'll close it little by little, close it little by little, close it little by little until the line is fully gone. That's pretty much it.
inside you. So won't you wake up now and see? Don't hide away the things you're feeling. Unlock your mind and lose the key. There's a universe inside you. You should never have to hide. I can see the stars inside you.
Now we're gonna go ahead and do the other side. This is gonna be where the hair overlaps. So pretty much what we're gonna do, we're gonna start a clipper over comb. This is gonna start connecting the top with the sides already. Many of you have problems connecting the top with the sides. Well, there you go. This is a great technique for that clipper over comb. It helps you kind of give shape to the haircut and connect whatever you need to connect. So this is how I said, this is one of my favorite techniques. So I'm using number 1 for the same process, and how you can see, like, I'm starting to blend already the top with the sides, and I'm using, you know, like vertical sections first with the clipper over comb, and now I'm using like horizontal sections, to say it like that, to create that graduation. That's exactly what I want to create. So pretty much what we're trying to do is kind of obviously create that faded look, but also we're trying to leave some weight on the before the, how can I say this in an easy way, before the hair starts curving, you know, brush with ridge, and then we're gonna leave some weight there so the top can actually connect with the sides on a nicely transition. I don't know if that was easy to explain. I try to like not use like cosmetology terms or any of that, just because I know there's a lot of you that come here to learn, and you guys are not really, some of you are not professional. You're just doing it because you want to learn, or because you're just trying to cut a couple of friends at home, or, you know, things like that. So I try not to use like crazy terms so you guys don't get confused. So yeah, pretty much, you know, we're trying to leave some weight in the part where the top hair starts kind of like blending to the sides. This is going to allow us, and it's going to allow the client, when he styles his hair, that extra hair and that extra weight is going to allow it to kind of comb back if that's what they want, or, you know, kind of look nicer, in my opinion. So anyway, you know, I'm doing the same process I did on the first side, and the first side that we did. So it was pretty much we down fade everything from like a 4 to like the skin, pretty much. The great technique that I like to use on this type of hair is scissor over comb or shear over comb. Reason for it is because when the hair is thin, it tends to leave a lot of very harsh lines on the fade for whatever reason. So with this technique, it's gonna kind of soften some of those lines a little bit, and it's gonna make the transition a little nicer. So pretty much, you know, we clip with scissor over comb. It's the same thing I always tell you. Just maintain one of the blades is gonna be a steady blade, and then you're just gonna cut with another one. Here you can see I'm just kind of like taking the hairs that I see that are like kind of like dark. I'm kind of like lighting those hairs up a little bit with the one blade, pretty much. And here what I'm doing, I'm just kind of soften a little bit that part where the hair is starting to blend, just because I want it to be a little softer. So I'm just point cutting that side, so it's not as you know, as harsh. How to say, like thin, super thin hair, it's a little difficult to fade sometimes, just because of that. It creates lines that are not really there, but it just kind of makes it look like there's lines. So I'm using just different techniques here just to kind of make everything a little softer, so there's a softer transition from the top to the sides. And this side we're gonna do exactly the same. And you know, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you to everyone that wished me congratulate me on my baby boy being born this week. I want to say thank you so much to all of you guys. You know, honestly, like my family, you know, having my family completed pretty much is just bringing me so much happiness. And you know, it motivated me more to do more and to share more with everyone. So thank you guys for the support. So anyway, I just put a little bit of product, and I just want to show you guys how it looks at the end. As you can see, it looks super clean. This is not easy hair to cut. This client went to a lot of barbers trying to get his hair cut, and a lot of barbers couldn't do it just because they didn't know how to. So yeah, there you go, guys. This is the final result. Thank you so much for the support. How I said, don't forget to subscribe, like it, and share with others. Leave me your comments below. Let me know what you think, and I see you guys on the next one. Take care.